Ukraine, the world's breadbasket. The war has cast its long shadow on this fertile land. What is it like to be a young farmer here, in wartime?
All around here, they're our fields.
24-year-old Yevhen grows wheat, corn, beetroot and vegetables on his 600-acre farm. But with Ukrainian wheat struggling to exit the country because of the war, his summer harvest is still stuck in storage. The price of Yevhen's grain has plummeted by more than 40%.
Now the price of my grain is 5,000 to 6,000 hryvnia per tonne. That's way lower than break-even point, so I'll need to hold it in storage and hope that something will change.
The mood is tense in Yevhen's household, not least because Russian missiles have been falling in the nearby fields. His mother and brother depend on him, and he feels the weight of the world on his shoulders as he strives to keep his business afloat. Although some exports of Ukrainian grain have resumed since August 2022 under the Black Sea Grain Initiative, relief is not yet on the horizon for Yevhen.
It's great that this opportunity to ship out our grain exists. Let's hope that it will continue and stabilise these prices on the market.
So far, over 11 million tonnes of grain and foodstuffs have been able to leave the Ukrainian ports under the initiative. But before the war, the country had been shipping 5 million tonnes of food every month. For Yevhen, less sales revenue means even less money to buy fuel, which has doubled in price, and fertilizer, which has almost tripled, if you can even find it. To keep operations running, Yevhen is faced with some very hard choices.
We had to cut the amount of fertilizers due to their high cost. We just cannot afford to use them as we did before. So we need to optimize production costs by cutting fertilizer and pesticides.
With next year's yields also in the balance, Yevhen may struggle to pay his farm workers' wages. Some of his staff only arrived in the region in the past few months from eastern Ukraine, where the war rages on. Yevhen has given these internally displaced people, or IDPs, a job and a place to stay in this little apartment on the farm, and feels the responsibility to keep going for them.
Here's where the IDPs from Kharkiv live, and they're currently renovating. We will have to paint here, finish the floor, and there will be other furniture here too. A new bed has been ordered as well. We help as best we can.
There are 6.5 million people displaced by the war in Ukraine, and many of them are living in nearby Lviv. The city has been a place of refuge for those fleeing, but the signs of war are visible everywhere. Lviv native Natalia was a successful businesswoman. She and her husband decided to invest in agriculture 1 year ago, using her savings to buy a 380-hectare farm 30 minutes from Lviv and grow barley and soy. The timing of her investment could not have been more difficult.
We are new in this business, and after the full-scale war began, we faced an increase in all the production costs linked to grain cultivation. But we didn't stop. We are working, and we will continue to work, believing in our success and that it is good work for a good cause.
Natalia is convinced that farmers have an essential role in sustaining a country and a people at war. But how much longer will she be able to sustain her business?
The harvest must be exported and sold, but the volumes that Ukraine exports today are very small compared to before. There are simply crazy queues at the border, and logistic costs eat up most of the expected profits.
Back at Yevhen's farm, it's all hands on deck as the young farmer struggles to keep operations going. He has been forced to look for additional sources of income. One is to rent spaces on his farm to produce toilet paper. This enables him to pay salaries and for other necessities on the farm. At 24, Yevhen's future remains wide open. Despite the daily struggles, he continues to believe that he can contribute to the renewal and prosperity of his country by doing what he loves best, farming with a poetic bent.
Since childhood, I've always loved farming, and today I work the fields the way a poet writes a book.
The grain on which Yevhen has built his livelihood is a lifeline for his community, but also for so many people around the world. What course will he and millions of others in countries far away be able to chart in an unprecedented cost of living crisis for his generation?